You must have seen various movies where the expert thieves crack into the safes, museums, and top-secret vaults. Or you would have always wanted to access the VIP lounge. Well, gaining access to inaccessible places will always raise someone's spirits, but you may have slipped into these restricted areas if you're an owner of a charming personality. But there are places where you can't gain access even if you keep the guards sweet. Well, of course, bribery is against the law. Hey busybodies, the Tattletalers are back. Welcome to yet another video of Discover X. Looking for something to quench your thirst for mystique? Then, feathered friends, you have perched the right seat. In today's video, we'll help you unearth the hardest place to break into the world. But before we get a grip on the video, don't forget to smash that red subscribe button and hit the notification bell to not miss any of our content of our channel. In movies, some under laser acrobatics or some low-level sneaking around will help you into the restricted areas. Well, real-life folks don't have such magical abilities. If you sneak in like that, be ready to be behind bars. But what all you can do is you could sneak into these places through our channel. Well, if someone asked you about which heist would you do if you wanted, then be smart and pick up the Federal Reserve in New York City. You can't even believe how near do you stand to this much money. You could dawdle around anywhere near the streets of Manhattan, but there is actually no chance at all to get inside that. So what is in this to get this intense security? Actually, the vault holds even more gold than Fort Knox, which will be discussed later in our video. It is estimated that there are more than 500,000 gold bars in storage. Actually, about 6,200 tons of gold. The Fed tells visitors its basement vault holds the world's biggest official gold stash and values it at $240 billion to $260 billion. Well, are your bright eyes getting radiant? Not a single human is allowed to get a touch of that gold. Actually, the robots move the pallets around inside. The foreign governments even proceed to dump their gold here due to the well-protected exterior ambience. Okay, next we are talking about a prison, not an ordinary one, of course. These prison inhabitants are the worst of the worst criminals. Many of you must have known about the ADX Florence prison. We are sure you would recognize it if we say its nickname, Alcatraz of the Rockies. Yeah, that's the one located in Colorado, which has some of the most intense security measures globally. The US actually transmits to this prison with the worst of the worst. The most dangerous ones are housed in the prison. That includes foreign or domestic terrorists, cartel members, double agents, organized crime associates, and white supremacist leaders. The chance of escaping from prison are absolutely zero. The prison is well equipped with training attack dogs patrolling the prison walls, 1,400 remotely controlled steel doors, and a 12-foot-high razor fence that can make even the sky hard to see. Motion-detecting laser beams let Norway even plan an escape. One could say that this prison is a cleaner version of hell. Well, that takes us to some dark world with dim light, right? That's enough. Let's talk about some gold again. If you don't know where this stuff is hidden, how would you even break into the place? Yeah, we're talking about the Iranian Gold Reserve. Literally, no one actually has an idea where this stuff is hidden. Iran is said to store its gold reserves in an undisclosed location. Many people have a few guesses about where it may be hidden, maybe in the Imperial Treasury or Iran's central bank, but no one has any idea where this gold is shacked in. For sure, these people have only a wild guess about the location. We think that it could be dispersed over numerous locations. The gold was actually kept in Europe until Iranian officials moved on the sly back in 2010. Well, that is the least info we could gather up on the undisclosed location of the tons of gold. The next is also in the same genre, but this one you must have probably heard, maybe through an analogy or an idiom. Locked up like Fort Knox, be like Fort Knox. These phrases actually mean that it is not accessible. Well, Fort Knox is inaccessible with tons of gold and priceless documents like the Magna Carta and the Declaration of Independence. Excited? Are you staging a break-in there? Well, forget it right away, or think again after we disclose its intense security. The walls are made from solid granite. Plus, the whole fortress is mastered with armed guards and military personnel. The vault door code requires approximately 10 different people, and no one individual knows the whole thing. Fort Knox is owned by the US Armed Forces, and until this moment, Franklin Roosevelt is the only president who has ever visited this fortified vault. In 1937, the United States started storing its gold reserves in Fort Knox, keeping it away from coastal cities like New York and Philadelphia, to a location less vulnerable to foreign military attack. At present, the building is one of the most secure places, actually the world's most secure place. It is said that about 147.3 million ounces of gold are housed at Fort Knox. Even if you try to break the surveillance system, the securities, and the changed code, all of these are actually impossible. Still, the ultimate safety is heavily protected by 27 inches thick vaults made of steel and concrete that actually can withstand atomic bombs. Leave all your thoughts to sneak in this fort and just hit that subscribe button. That's all you could do, actually. Next, we are talking to erase that crazy thought in your mind, like if you think what might happen if you place a nuclear explosion. Actually, nothing can happen if you place it on Cheyenne Mountain Complex. Pikes Peak must have dominated the sky in Colorado Springs, but near to that mountain's southeast appears another geological ripple. Cheyenne Mountain is just a rounded, rocky thing that rises several feet above sea level. Looks wild and quiet, right? But what makes it wilder is the bunker out there. It is shielded by roughly 2,500 feet of granite, which could house 15 three-story buildings. The people gather out and analyze data from a global surveillance system. The bunker can deflect a 30 megaton nuclear explosion as close as 1 mile away. It is also the former office for the command center for the North American Aerospace Defense Command. The next one is probably something you have heard many times in movies. Rich people always have secret Swiss bank accounts. It's an absolute location for a James Bond thriller. Yes, the Swiss vault is one of the safest places to keep your money if you're that rich. Swiss bank account is something for the super rich. These bank accounts are just safe and impossible to break into. The safety deposit boxes can't be with 1 or 2, but it needs 3 keys to access. The folks out there have a lot of speculation about what's hidden in the Mormon Church's secret vaults. It is probably known as Storm the Church Vault. The Mormon Church's secret vaults are kept in a facility built 600 feet inside Little Cottonwood Canyon Mountain. The vault is situated inside a mountain of granite in Utah, but it doesn't stop there. The tunnels are guarded by entrance doors that weigh 9 to 14 tons each. Wow, that's just astonishing. The records inside are protected by motion and heat sensors that will detect any attempts at violating the perimeter. So what are they trying to hide? LDS church leaders say that the vault just has genealogical records, copies of scripture, microfilm rolls, and some family history information, equaling 3 billion pages of family history records. Have you heard about the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea? The Korea Demilitarized Zone is 160 miles of terrain, which is the most heavily guarded border on the planet. Even the most desperate defectors would think more than thrice before they even make a move. It's so rarely crossed, and it's turned into a nature preserve and remains one of the most natural stretches of land in Asia. Physical conflict at the DMZ is actually rare, but there were many deadly clashes and other incidents over the decades. It has been separated for nearly 65 years. The areas of north and south of the DMZ are strengthened, maintained by large contingents of troops on both sides. The next one is a place that could save the planet from starving if there's a disaster. We must have already wondered what we would do if there was another world war or nuclear disaster that could destroy us badly. Then we have to look no farther than the Svalbard Seed Vault. This highly protected vault is located about 320 feet into a mountain between Norway and the North Pole. But what does it actually contain? It is intended to protect the seeds of the world's food plants if ever a global crisis happened. Endorsed by more than 100 countries, it contains about 890,000 preserved seed samples from almost every country globally. The Syrian civil war prompted the first withdrawal of seeds from the vault. Almost no one is allowed entry. Well, that's pretty cool. So that's the time to put a wrap to our video. Which one do you really crave to sneak into? Do you have that Gusto Smart Intense security system? Well, all I know is that I don't have the belly to sneak in there. Don't forget to comment on your place and we would love to know it. But before you sneak into the comments section, tap the thumbs up button. Alright now, adios till we see each other again.